Good afternoon and welcome to lovely Pickett, Wisconsin on this wonderful April 7th afternoon. And the sun is out, it's warm, it's probably 48, maybe 49 degrees Fahrenheit, very light breezes. It's just a spectacular day. Now what I've got on the stand today is the Webra Speed 61 engine, and this is going to be part one of maybe a multiple part series of videos where I'm trying different carbs on this engine. The first video I ran after I replaced the ring was the standard stock Webra TN carb, but I wasn't convinced or totally certain that the needles were right on that. Now I did get the engine running fine with that, but since then I've contacted a buddy of mine in Florida, Harvey, and he provided me with some additional carbs. And if you saw the Webra Speed 61 carb video, you'll see what those are. This is got the Webra Dynamix carb on it. So this is actually a stock carb, and I'm going to be running an APC 12.6 today, the same OS number 8 glow plug, and some nitro fuel. It's probably about 5 to 7% nitro fuel. Now, because I have not run or messed with this carb in a long time, in fact this is actually the same carb that was on the Webra Speed 91 that I owned several years ago. Now I'm not sure, I think Harvey tried to run with that engine with this carb, so I don't know what the settings are like on it. This is basically just going to be a run to see if I can get it tuned properly. I'm not sure I'm going to be too interested in RPM readings, but we'll just have to take that and see how it goes. Now I'll take a picture of the top of this carb and I'll explain that I'm not sure what the low speed is set at, but it's impossible for me to adjust this low speed while this engine is running. I really don't want to mess with the low speed adjustment, so I may not be too concerned about a low idle speed, just because of the fact that I can't do it while it's running and I have to keep stopping it and then trying it out. But we'll just see how things go as the run progresses. Now I do have a couple other carbs here, and I brought additional fuel, but if I do those runs, they'll probably be separate videos because otherwise it's going to be very long. So without further delay, let's just run this engine. Alright, so I got the fuel lines hooked up. Let's see how this thing takes a prime. Looks like it primed pretty well there. Now I do have the instructions for the Webra Dynamix carb, and I briefly read them before I came here, and I think it said to start this thing at half throttle. this carb, because I just can't seem to get this carb to go down any lower than it is. I can't get any further closure than what I'm getting, and I'll get my camera on my cell phone and take some pictures and show you how closed this is. It's not getting closed enough to get a good low speed idle. Here's how this carb is opening and closing. So you can see it's opening fully, but I'm just not able to get it to close down any more than that to get a proper idle. And I'm not exactly sure where it's hitting, but this is kind of one of those issues with that Dynamix carb. Okay, so the engine runs really well. This is a nice running engine. I had a lot better success with this Dynamix carb on the 91 speed. For whatever reason, I just took a short video on my cell phone. I'll put that in here too. I cannot get this thing to close any more than what is shown in that picture and or video. And before, it was just a matter of having, on the 91 I had a similar issue. It was a matter of getting the right angle here, and that's why you saw me the whole time, almost the entire run. I'm sitting here with a screwdriver pushing and poking and prodding and trying to get this thing to a position where it would close more, and it just wasn't willing to do that. Now, maybe what I need to do is actually loosen this up and rotate the carb just a little bit. Maybe it doesn't look like I'm contacting anything in the engine case that would cause that, so I'm not exactly sure. When I had the carb off and on the table, I could do it. It wasn't super easy, but I could do it, and I don't believe that it is a setting issue here, other than I just don't know what it is. All I know is that's how this engine runs with the Dynamix carb. The Dynamix carb is probably a really good carb. I think I had a lot better feelings towards it before. Today, not so much. Yeah, it runs. Is it easy to set at low speed? No. Is it easy to get to move to a low speed position? No. So I'm saying no to the Dynamix carb, although the high end seems really nice and the transition wasn't bad. I'm sure the transition would be better had I been able to achieve a low speed idle and then adjust the mid-range or adjust the low speed mixture, but I'm not going to mess with that. I'm done with this Dynamix carb. We'll move on to another carb for this engine.